WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Talking wrestling.
Yeah.
Because that's what this show's about. That's what we've been doing for over 16 years.
No. It's about sports entertainment.
And now here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon and Lucas DeSangro.
Will you stop marking out over there?
Sorry.
Move over, kid. I'm taking your microphone.
You're shallow, you know that?
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I don't remember what the hell I do anymore.
Shut up!
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon here with you in studio. Lucas should be joining us shortly via satellite, as he tends to bring it like The Rock. Now, he is on his way carpooling down to the MFPW Arena, the world-famous Monster Factory, 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey, where tonight is their biggest event of the year, Turkey Slam. Yes, 2 rings, 1 prize, a 2-ring battle royal for a shot at the Monster Factory Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. That's all tonight at the world-famous Monster Factory, 541 Mantua Avenue in Paulsboro, New Jersey. Definitely want to check that out. I'll be there, Twitch will be there, and you never know what else is going to happen in all the insanity. Now, we are here until 12:45 today. We've got Widener football coming your way. So let's get into quite a bit of things here in this particular week of stuff that's gone on. One thing that I thought was actually kind of interesting, I didn't really get into last week as it was kind of on the fresh side here. But yeah, the press conference for UFC. I know we don't talk a whole lot of UFC, but UFC 232 that's coming up on December 29th between John Bones Jones and Alexander Gustafsson. Brock Lesnar's name came up twice via questions from the reporters. One having to do with a little bit of history that we talked about here on the show many months ago here.
John, before UFC 214, I asked you about fighting Brock Lesnar, and you said, first, I'm going to deal with DC, and then I'm going to deal with Brock Lesnar. You didn't get that opportunity. Is that a fight you still want?
Yeah, I would like to fight Brock Lesnar still. Absolutely. I think Brock Lesnar is one of the most entertaining guys. You know, people want to see him in the UFC against entertaining guys. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the opportunity to still compete against Brock Lesnar.
Now, the DC that he's referencing in that is Daniel Cormier, which the Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that UFC officials are interested in the possibility of Lesnar fighting Daniel Cormier on March 2nd in Las Vegas. And well, Cormier's been calling out Lesnar on a couple of occasions, including after his UFC 230 victory over Derek Lewis. Now, Lesnar is currently contracted with WWE through WrestleMania, which is 5 weeks after that proposed fight, which the schedule would lead to Lesnar being in training on the road to WrestleMania. But along with that, well, he's kind of the Universal Champion right now, thanks to everything from Crown Jewel Jack, or CJJ, as we were joking about last week. And, well, a reporter actually had a question for UFC head Dana White regarding that.
I know you may not care about this, but Brock Lesnar recaptured one of the WWE championships this morning in Saudi Arabia. Would he be allowed to wear that into the octagon?
I did not know that. Thank you. I don't think Vince would let him wear that into the octagon, to be honest with you. He can bring whatever belt he wants to bring. I could care less.
So there you go. He's more concerned that Vince McMahon may not allow Lesnar to bring that in. Although, as manager Paul Heyman has said on many an occasion, Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar wants. So it could be possible that you might see that, and it could be some fun cross-promotion perhaps. Time will certainly tell on that. Now, we are a week away, or at least just over a week away from Survivor Series, which it feels like it just kind of crept up on us because, oh yeah, there's been all this talk about the Crown Jewel Jack. So the usual Survivor Series stuff isn't quite there as it has been in past years, unfortunately. But that being said, there's still some things to get into with that. So far, 8 matches are set on the card, although the participants in them, that's a little bit more to be determined, and I'm sure will be figured out over the course of the next couple of days via Raw and SmackDown. A lot of champion versus champion. It almost, I don't know, the Survivor Series the last few years has felt more like, remember the bragging rights pay-per-view with the whole Raw versus SmackDown thing? I think that's kind of what it feels like going on here. I mean, as I look at the card, 7 of the 8 matches are some form of Raw versus SmackDown, whether it's the champion versus champion matches, which there are 4 of those, or it could be one of the 3 traditional Survivor Series matches that pits one against the other. And I'll quickly go over the card here. So you have, for example, the Raw Tag Team Champions, the new Raw Tag Team Champions, AOP, taking on the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus. So that, again, no titles are on the line. That's just, it almost feels like it's more for bragging rights than anything else. You know, which brand is superior, even though we know in the heads of WWE's minds it is, was, and always will be Raw, of course. You've got Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins taking on United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. For the ladies, you've got Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey against SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. We talked about that at length last week, or at least a little bit of length, based on the tweet from Becky Lynch following the Evolution pay-per-view. You've got the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar taking on WWE Champion AJ Styles in a rematch from Survivor Series last year. So we'll see how that goes and what will lead as far as UFC and as time goes along here. And then you have the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination matches. For the men, you've got 3 out of the 5 names determined for Team Raw: Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman, as well as 2 yet-to-be-determined partners, taking on Team SmackDown of The Miz, Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Shane McMahon. Certainly an interesting combination for those individuals. Also, for the ladies, well, that's a little more yet to be determined. Team Raw, well, your guess is as good as mine. Not a single person's been determined yet. Team SmackDown, 4 out of the 5 are selected: Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, and Asuka, and still 1 yet to be determined. And then as far as the tag teams, well, Team Raw, your guess is as good as mine as of yet. And for SmackDown, you've got the Usos and the New Day, and presumably 3 more tag teams set to be put in the mix. And then the one lone wolf, the Cruiserweight Championship on the line, the one title defense thus far: Buddy Murphy taking on Mustafa Ali. Just for a little variety, to actually have a title match with all these champions on the card. So let's go ahead. We've got Ed from Northeast Philly joining us here. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Yeah, I'll make this quick because I know that you have a short show today.
Yeah, we're a little on the shorter side for football reasons, but yeah, go ahead. What's going on with the local scene?
Did you hear about MLW coming to Philly?
You know, I can't say that it's immediately crossed my path, but by all means, enlighten us here on it.
It's coming to the 2300 Arena on February 2nd of next year.
Oh, a little Groundhog Day action.
Yeah. I don't know when the tickets go on sale yet. I don't think they said it yet.
I was going to say, I'm going to MLW now, and yeah, it says Philadelphia to... Okay, that's why. It was just posted yesterday. Philadelphia to host Super Fight on February 2nd, 2019. And that will be... tickets will go on sale Monday, November 26th at 10 a.m. Eastern. And that's at MLWGo.com.
That's going to be...
Yeah, that should be very interesting. And
he comes to the area if he's still champion yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've worked a little bit over the years with Court Bauer, and I'm sure there'll be some collaboration as we get closer here. And who knows what kind of insanity is going to occur as the City of Brotherly Love getting the first ever MLW Super Fight event.
Yeah. And Shakira is this afternoon at the Wrestle Factory in Northeast Philly.
Yeah, the afternoon effects. The afternoon shows, they keep on coming here for Chikara.
At 3
Yeah,
p.m.
don't go to sleep is what it is, which pretty much is my motto on a every Saturday basis.
And Extreme Fallout comes to the Berkeley Little League in Bayfield, New Jersey, on November 17th. That's a SWF promotion.
That should be a good one as well.
Tommy Dreamer, Gary Wolf, Sandman, Shane Douglas.
A lot of great names from the area here.
And he has a seminar that afternoon there too. Shane Douglas does.
Oh, okay. That would certainly make sense. Yeah, I'd get behind that most certainly.
And Super Crazy comes to Northeast Philadelphia too. Super Crazy Pro Wrestling at the Boys Club.
Oh, the Holmesburg Boys Club, correct?
Boys Club. They have what you're talking about, something like the double cage thing with the two promotions.
Oh, double. Well, I was talking about for the factory. I was talking about about two rings adjacent to one another.
I don't know how they're going to fit that one. I mean, it's just a pretty small building.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not as sure with Super Crazy Pro Wrestling. I know with the MFPW, they've been doing that for a little while for their big event here. It almost is akin to the way that the old War Games used to be set up, only in this case without the cage.
And that's about it.
All righty, well, appreciate the look at the local scene. Thank you so much for chiming in. And I'm sorry, Ed.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah, we should be back to the full hour next week. Yeah. Although if something changes, Ted will certainly let me know. As with everything in wrestling, the card is subject to change. So that's certainly a constant here. So we'll come back on the other side. We'll talk about. I was going to say there hasn't been much as far as WWE in terms of major news, because usually things tend to be a bit slower when they go do their European tour, which is where they currently are, but they've already planned when they're going to be back over there, and we'll let you know what's going on for the rest of the tour heading into this weekend. Also a notable name from the 90s in the World Wrestling Federation, at least if you were a Shawn Michaels fan like I was. Bit of something going on with that we'll talk about. Also some Impact TV tapings and a few other interesting things to get into. A rather notable commentator, somebody who, declares himself the best at everything, including commentary, is going to bring his hand to the mic for something a little different that's just outside the world of wrestling. Also a major WWE star dealing with some nagging injuries. We'll let you know who that is. And an interesting hidden gem on the WWE network that will kind of turn back the clock and have a little fun with that as well. All that and more, and hopefully Lucas on the other side as well. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Chickies and Pete's, your favorite local sports bar with the best in-game experience. Catch all the action and the players at Chickies and Pete's all season long. Live football shows all season, featuring the Brandon Graham Show every Monday. Plus, the Chickie and Pete's Players Lounge with many more special guests. Enjoy daily drink specials, signature menu items, and our world-famous crab fries. Chickies and Pete's is a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and the official caterer of the Touchdown Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Head to chickiesandpete's.com for the full schedule.
Hi, Merrill Reese, inviting you to join me and Delaware County beat reporter Bob Groats and a different Eagle each week for the Gwinnett Mercy University Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Listen on 1490 WBCB and 610 ESPN, or watch our video stream on Facebook Live as we broadcast each week from a different Chickies and Pete's. The Gwinnett Mercy University Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA, every Tuesday night from 6 to 7, right here on 1490 WBCB and 610 ESPN.
I'm Henry Carpenter, a certified elder law attorney, and we're Bucks County Elder Law, a life care planning law firm. I'm often asked, what is elder law and why do I need an elder law attorney? Elder law is a unique practice. It combines a number of divergent areas of law to help older adults and their families address the issues that arise during the aging process. Typically, a certified elder law attorney will go beyond just giving legal advice by creating and participating in a customized plan addressing a client's legal needs for today and the future. We want to be a resource to assist clients through the aging process by giving advice on complicated issues like Medicaid, planning for incapacity, planning to preserve family assets, and coordinating planning for care. Elder law attorneys strive to attain the best possible result for each client. Our goal is to meet our clients' needs so they can age in place and remain independent for as long as possible. At Bucks County Elder Law, we empower you to make the best legal, care, and planning decisions for you and your family. We invite you to call us today at 215-493-0727 to schedule a free initial consultation. Join us each Tuesday at 9 a.m. for Senior Legal Strategies right here on WBCB, and to visit our website at buckscountyelderlaw.com.
See, it's got the Luigi death stare from Fearon, so we might have to...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
You're breaking kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe. Gonna break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside, bringing it via satellite, here is Lucas.
I think we were destined to do this forever.
Most certainly. Got you on here, Luke?
Yeah. Apparently, I guess I don't understand why I just called then. You could just have enough. You have enough drops for me to just stand in that way.
I was going to say, are you talking away from the receiver or something? Having a little... Oh, there we go.
Sorry. I said you have enough drops to have me as a stand-in, so I don't understand why I just called if you're just going to introduce me and then play a drop.
Well, we're having, I was going to say, we're having a little bit of a volume issue, which is usually rare for Lucas.
Fearon,
yes.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you, yes.
I said, forget it. Forget it.
Just forget it? Okay.
Can you hear me now? It's on speaker. I'm still sort of getting everything ready to...
Oh, you're on speaker. No wonder. That explains it. Well,
this is making for great radio, by the way.
It most certainly is. So while you get that together here, we'll talk about some other...
I'm good now. Can you hear me?
No, it's still a bit faint. So I'll get into some not so good news while you're working on getting yourself together here. So some not so great news from the world of wrestling from this past Tuesday, as Guadalupe Robledo, better known as Jose Lothario, died this past Tuesday at the age of 83. Lothario wrestled for most of his career in the National Wrestling Alliance in the 70s, also wrestled all around Texas, but was more notable to national fans for going on to train Shawn Michaels in the 1980s, and was perhaps best known for being Michaels' manager in 1996, leading to his first WWF World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match between Michaels and Bret Hart. And this is something that I had even forgotten about as I was pulling things together. He even wrestled a WWF match against manager Jim Cornette at In Your House in September of 96. I was there and I don't remember it.
I'm sure that was a clinic.
Well, it lasted 56 seconds.
Thank God.
And, of course, he continued to manage Michaels up until the 1997 Royal Rumble.
Sure Cornette didn't crap on that match.
Well, I'm sure not too many have asked him about that. At least I would imagine not. So in other news here, WWE announced that when they'd be returning across the pond, which is where they're currently at, over to the UK and Ireland in 2019, they'll have 10 events in 11 days, including house shows in Belfast and Dublin, Ireland, as well as in Liverpool, Bournemouth, Birmingham, Newcastle, and Sheffield, England, as well as Cardiff, Wales. And they'll be in London on May 13th and 14th for tapings of Raw and SmackDown, respectively.
Very nice.
Meanwhile, they're closing out their European tour this weekend with the Raw roster in Italy today. And then they fly back home for Raw in Kansas City, Missouri this Monday. Meanwhile, the SmackDown crew, they've got an event in England today and then one more over in Glasgow, Scotland tomorrow before heading back in time for SmackDown in St. Louis, Missouri on Tuesday.
Oh, can you imagine just being in a beautiful place like Italy or Glasgow, Scotland, and you got to go to Missouri? Just those poor people.
Well, apologies to any Missourians who might be tuning in as Luke is dropping another pipe bomb here.
I'm just saying, I'm sure Missouri's a fine place to be at, But, it's just going over to a country like Glasgow, Scotland, or a city like Glasgow, Scotland, and seeing the beautiful landscape that's there. Or same with Italy. There's so much beautiful buildings and architecture and history, and then you just got to go to, there's the art. Cool.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Say what you will about that. I mean, being able to travel is just a cool thing in general.
Nice save.
As you're doing at the moment here, I'm presuming you're on your way down to Paulsboro?
Yes. I am indeed on my way down to Paulsboro.
And are you still on speakerphone?
No, I was trying to find my earbuds so I could speak in that way.
Well, I can tell you from experience that doesn't quite work out so well. You're still coming in faint, so you may want to put the phone to your ear and not be all cool with your earbuds.
That wasn't what was my intention. Is not to look cool, because we both know I just fall flat on my face. But
Fair enough.
Oh, I was gonna say, please tell me I didn't just crap out. Oh.
No. I got plenty of that and then some. So
Good.
Here's something that you may not have noticed necessarily, or you might start to notice, as a subtle but notable change is being made to Raw that hasn't been seen in over 2 decades. Did you hear about this?
No, I did not.
Well, according to Fightful.com, WWE Raw's overrun, running past the scheduled number of hours by as much as 15 minutes, will no longer occur. They're essentially going to have a hard network out right at 11 o'clock. Now, those overruns, they started during the Monday Night Wars between Raw and WCW Monday Nitro, where both sides of that Monday Night War would sometimes, they'd finagle around with the times a little bit. Sometimes they'd start a couple of minutes early. Sometimes they'd end a few minutes later than scheduled to try to gain a viewership advantage. And even when the competition was bought out, that overrun would stick around, but now apparently not, as the report indicating that the decision was likely made by USA Network instead of WWE.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be, that's one of those things, like, there's going to be a lot more crucialness to matches in terms of, like, sticking to your times. It's something they always try to drill into us at the Monster Factory. So stick to your times,
Yeah, don't have your matches or segments run long.
Or promos.
Well, the promo segments, yeah.
Because that means that's someone's match or segment you just cut short because you couldn't find the right words to say in 60 seconds, which is not easy. I'll say that.
No, or if you hot dogged and did some hot dogging and grandstanding a little too long. Not that you'd know anything about that.
No, I wouldn't, actually.
Alrighty then.
Oh, I'm just gonna. I put you on the pay no mind list on that one. I'm gonna get slagged on enough. Let's not do it. Let's not start the party early, please.
Fair enough. Well, while before a tiff continues here, we'll talk a little bit about a.
You with that.
What's this?
I said I totally Todd Pettengill you with that in terms of you just no-sell Scott Shannon stuff on Scott and Todd.
Fair enough. Yeah, let's get off of that, please. So an interesting Twitter tiff. I don't know if you heard about this, between the Queen of Deletion and a former WWE diva.
No, I did not.
Ah, yes. Ashley Massaro. She had sent out a tweet Wednesday noting that she was going through some stuff in her garage and she found a CD that was burned for her by none other than Matt Hardy back in 2005, and kind of had a little nice nostalgia thing and wished his family well, but the family didn't quite have the same well wishes. Matt's wife, Rebby, I think you know where this is going, had less than flattering things to say in response.
The queen of Twitter heat.
Indeed, and obscenities aside, she asserted that Massaro had, quote, tried to come over here, meaning to the Hardy complex, with pills while I was out of town in 2011. And after a further back and forth, Rebby added, seems like I dislike a lot of people for no reason, huh? Let me make it clear there is always a reason, and reason number one is almost always because someone enabled, encouraged, or supplied drugs to my family. They will never not be called out for it, and I will never forget that, end quote. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, some strong allegations there. Now, as we know, Matt Hardy does have a troubled past, including a known battle with substance abuse, though he's gotten things on track in recent years. But going back to that time in 2011, it was reported that Impact had quietly suspended both Matt and Jeff Hardy to have them attend a rehabilitation program before returning to TV. And to show you how bad things were, a few weeks later, Matt was fired by Impact after being arrested for driving while intoxicated and running his car off the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thankfully he was able to turn things around and not delete himself at that early stage before before all of this, before the Woken universe had manifested itself.
Indeed.
So
I don't know if it would be in good taste for me to do Woken Twitch at this point, so I'm just going to abstain from doing that. Yeah. So I will abstain.
I think that's because your traveling partner is trying to keep you in check, or at least you're trying to keep yourself in check with your travel partner. That might be more so what the scenario
I have
is.
two people I could potentially annoy. Yeah, fair enough.
But, well, and the listeners as well, but they're used to it at this point.
Yeah, they enable it. It's cool.
Suppose. So it looks like we weren't the only ones avoiding mentioning CJJ last week. WWE barely mentioning it as well now that it's in the rearview mirror. And not only are they trying to get past it as quickly as possible, but that event left just 2 weeks to set up and promote one of their big 4 pay-per-views of the year, Survivor Series, which is just 8 days away.
Yeah, you notice they haven't been mentioning Hulk Hogan at all either.
Yeah. That somehow, I mean, it was a big thing overseas, but here, yeah, the real American not mentioned in America.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah. I would not be that surprised.
Oh, absolutely. And did you know that Impact is doing TV tapings tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday in Las Vegas?
I did. I heard they were also having tryouts. Yes.
Yeah, they're returning to Sin City for the first time in 5 years. They're going to be at Sam's Town Hotel and Gambling Hall. They also announced... Huh?
Interesting. No, I was going to say that's the same venue that Ring of Honor does their tapings when they're in Vegas.
Exactly. Until, I was going to say, I think last time they were there, they actually moved to a larger venue, so that's good signs for ROH.
I think that was just for the pay-per-view, for their anniversary pay-per-view.
Oh, for the anniversary pay-per-view. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
they always do it at the bigger venue and for their anniversary.
And that absolutely makes sense. They also announced that there were 3 more Vegas shows that will be taped at the same venue on February 15th, 16th, and 17th of 2019. So they'll be back in about 4 months if you happen to miss it in the next couple of days here.
Interesting.
And I'm sure Vegas is going to be a lot warmer than it will be here in February.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Most certainly. Well, if you want... Yeah, I was going to say, do you mind hanging on? We got to take our second time out here, and then, I know, things changing minute by minute here. We'll take care of it in a little bit here as we're about 10 minutes away from Widener football here on WBCB, and I gotta bring this chuckle out in the way here. So WWE Network had updated their hidden gems section with a forgotten event, or as some probably would say, should have been forgotten, the AWA Team Challenge Series. Any familiarity?
No.
I didn't think so, but you've surprised me before, so.
I understand that, but this one's just no.
Yeah, no. It was produced for home video back in 1989, but its release was swiftly canceled. It had 3 teams that were captained by Larry Zbyszko, Larry's Legends, Baron von Raschke, Baron's Blitzers, and Sergeant Slaughter, Sarge's Snipers, though Slaughter left midway through the series to go to WWE, so Colonel De Beers took over, and it was renamed De Beers Diamond Cutters.
And then I almost said BDP. What? Byman Dallas Page. Wow, I stink. We're live, pal. Yeah.
To give you an idea of how poorly received it was.
Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, to give you an idea of how poorly received it was, some of the matches took place in a TV studio without an audience. The announcers had claimed it was to stop wrestlers from interfering, but in reality it was due to poor ticket sales for arena shows.
They did it in an empty arena without an audience. But to be fair, if there was an audience there, it would have been the same amount of noise.
Well, the imagery of it, I mean, they were essentially walking through like a double green screen that had a crowd on either side to give it the impression that a crowd was there when it was not.
It's such a carny thing to do.
It's interesting. It's definitely worth a look and a chuckle.
What do you think's next? Smack 'em, whack 'em? Is that going to be on the Hidden Gems?
You never know. I wouldn't mind seeing the what is that, the Oktoberfest thing that the WWF did back in like '92, I think.
I'm sure you would.
And I'm prosit to you too. Meanwhile, former WWE champion Phil CM Punk Brooks was announced as a commentator for Cage Fury Fighting Championships. CFFC is set to have their first event on December 14th at the Borgata Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
That is correct, and it will be on UFC Fight Pass.
It most certainly will. And one other thing of note here, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, Braun Strowman is dealing with nagging injuries, Meltzer describing Braun Strowman's knees as, quote, shot, noting that it was evident during Strowman's movements on Monday. Now, Strowman's 35. I mean, he's not old, but... and has only been wrestling on WWE's main roster since 2015, but I think the nagging injuries may explain the stop-and-start momentum that he has had recently.
Yeah, that might be the case. That would explain why, once again, they put the belt on Lesnar.
Certainly is possible. Anyway, got to take care of a little bit of business. We'll come back in a few minutes. Today in wrestling history, birthdays, and a couple of other fun things here. But first, it's a special night of live music tonight at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA, where DVT Entertainment tonight presents live music from Nicole June at 9 and then the Wonder Bars at 10. And tickets are more than half sold out for Thanks for the Laughs 4, the 4th annual night of comedy starring nationally recognized comedians Don Jameson and Jim Florentine. Definitely want to check that out, as well as some of the other weekly features. Sunday Bloody Marys and Bloody Flights on, obviously, Sunday. Jackbox.tv on Tuesdays. Quizzo from the Dark Side with bartender Reese on Wednesdays. House musician Mike Estabrook on Thursdays. And a live variety of music acts on Friday and a hodgepodge of events on Saturday. Just a few reasons why it's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Please enjoy responsibly. Coming back to wrap things up here, as we've got about 6 minutes here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
Hi, Merrill Reese, inviting you to tune in every Friday morning at 8 to hear Head Games, a new must-listen-to show for athletes and coaches of all levels and ages. Mindful Athlete Training in Newtown is a mental circuit training program that prepares the athlete to perform at the highest levels of today's game. Athletes get in the zone faster and stay there longer. Tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. right here on WBCB 1490 and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, November 10th. On this date in 1993, WCW held its Clash of the Champions Supercard. In the main event, Ric Flair defeated WCW World Heavyweight Champion Vader by disqualification. On this date in 1997, WWF Monday Night Raw aired live from Ottawa, Ontario in Canada. In the main event, Ken Shamrock fought Hunter Hearst Helmsley to a no contest. On this date in 2003, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Boston, Massachusetts. In the main event, Goldberg defeated Batista by disqualification. On this date in 2008, WWE Monday Night Raw was taped in Manchester, England. In the main event, Chris Jericho defeated Shawn Michaels in a last man standing match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, November 10th.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you in studio. Lucas on the phone coming in via satellite. We've got like 3 minutes left. One last thing to let you know for tomorrow over at our friends at George's Cars and Collectibles. Tomorrow from noon to 2, you'll see former WWE star Ken Patera, former WWE and WCW wrestler and actor Zeus, as well as Hall of Famers Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Sonny, and Mean Gene Okerlund. That's going to be at their Neshaminy Mall location in the movie theater wing. Their other location for your cards and collectibles needs, their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Levittown. Make sure to go to georgescollectibles.com for more info and follow George's Cards and Collectibles on Facebook. Twitch, I think we're about that time. I believe it is time for...
Birthdays!
There we go, because we've got a bunch in a short period of time to get them in. On this date in 1950, Robert Keith Orton Jr. was born. The 2005 WWE Hall of Famer, better known as Cowboy Bob Orton. Wonder if that forearm ever healed with that cast on his arm. He turned 68 today. On this date in 1966, friend to you and I, William Charles DeMott II. That's right, former WCW US champ, Tough Enough trainer, and eventual NXT trainer, previously known as Hugh Morris and General Rection. Better known by his real name of Bill DeMott. He's 52 today. On this date in 1977, Josh Barnett, the color commentator for New Japan and former UFC heavyweight champion, he's 41 today. On this date in 1980, Katarina Lee Waters was born, the former TNA Knockouts champion and Knockouts Tag Team champion known as both Winter and Katie Lee Burchell. She turns 38 today. On this date in 1981, Ryan Allen Reeves was born, the former Intercontinental champion known as Skip Sheffield and more notably as Ryback. He turns 37 today. And did you know he changed his name legally to Ryback?
Of course he did.
Back in 2016, he did that. And on this date in 1992...
Of course he did. He pulled a Warrior.
Yes, he did. On this date in 1992, Cassandra McIntosh was born, the Australian wrestler currently on the SmackDown roster, better known as one half of the tag team, the Iconics, Peyton Royce. She turns 26 today. Now to the Brucey bonuses. This is going to be real quick. On this date in 1928, Ennio Morricone was born, the Italian composer known for writing scores for numerous films, most notably The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He turns 90 today. On this date in 1945, this one's for Ted, Yvonne Vaughn was born, the country music singer for such hits as The Happiest Girl in the Whole USA, known as Donna Fargo. She turned 73 today. On this date in 1947, David Loggins was born, known for his number one hit, Please Come to Boston. On this date in 1956, David Atkins was born, the actor and stand-up comedian better known as Sinbad. He's 62 today. And on this date in 1959, Mackenzie Phillips, known from American Graffiti and the sitcom One Day at a Time, she is 59 today. Where does the time go?
Yeah.
All right, well, Lucas, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you down at the MFPW Arena a little bit later tonight. And that's going to do it for this brief episode here as we're coming up on Widener Football here on 1490 WBCB.